something real quick. I don't usually go live like this. I only did it like once before in recent memory. I just wanted to address some of the underground hip hop artists that follow me and that I follow, because the majority of my friends on Instagram are hip hop related and underground artists. Yeah. So I'm gonna pose a question, and the question has to do with the industry, right? So, what is a Kingmaker, right? Back in the day in the industry, they used to have these cats that were called tastemakers. Yeah, they would be responsible for the hot new thing and, you know, what's the newest trend or fashion that everybody's into, right? So, what denotes a talented executive, in my personal opinion, is that they are a kingmaker, right? That means they can take someone that's virtually unknown and turn them into a star, because they have the foresight and the ability, the talent to see talent, you know, and to notice that when somebody has star power or somebody has potential, they know how to nurture it and turn that person into someone great, right? So to me, that's a powerful executive, or at least a talented executive. Now, there are executives out there that I consider don't have talent, really minimal talent, and a lot of them happen to be failed artists themselves. And these failed artists that end up being executives are often more concerned with living vicariously through the artists they sign, and or rubbing elbows with celebrities that already have an established identity and name as to prove their own worth, because they're still in the self-proof mission as far as proving themselves how great they are, instead of getting into the game to nurture other talent, because that's the administrative position of an executive. You know, you're the guy that runs the show and you want to make sure the product is good. And if you find a talented young person or new artist, you want to hone their ability to the point where they can be successful. Now, this is the question I want to pose to anyone out there on their timeline that sees an individual that considers themselves an A&R or an executive that's constantly bragging about their own personal success and the famous people that they're near and who they've dealt with that already have established careers. I would ask you, the listener or the viewer, whoever's watching this, to ask yourself, is that person a kingmaker? Who did they make a millionaire besides themselves? They might brag about their client list of already established talent, and they might brag about their clients that they sell guest features and beats, and about how they do all this administrative paperwork and basically behaving as a glorified secretary, you know, in the office, typing up, sending emails, and, you know, but you can't take a fucking contract on stage and read it and get an applause, right? So the way that you become great at being an executive is by nurturing unknown talent or lesser known talent and making something great out of that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention another angle of some of these executives might be to take an artist, and this is no disrespect to any legends, but a lot of our legends aren't appreciated. So let's say it kindly and respectfully and say, taking talent that is underappreciated from the past, some of our OGs in the game, when they may be vulnerable, and using them as a mascot for your movement, you know? And then when you have no more use of them, for them, you cast them aside, and they're, you know, make fun of them, talk about, you know, what they do to make money on the side and how they're, you know, they're washed or what have you, you know. There's a lack of respect in the game. But the question I'm asking is, if any of you see an executive that wants to be an artist that's on a brag mission on your timeline, on Instagram, Facebook, etc. And they're always showing their money. And they're always talking about their accolades and the famous people they're working with and the legends that they've helped lift up. The desperate legends that they've helped resurrect. You know? How many unknown artists have they made $1 million? They may have made themselves $1 million. How many unknown talents or lesser known independent talents did they lift up and make into a successful artist? Or are they just utilizing the lesser known talent to make them a millionaire by pointing to the celebrities that they associate with? They're using the talent, the underground talent's appreciation for the legends and the celebrities to draw money out of their pocketbook in exchange for leasing verses and beats. I mean, a lot of us don't have time to think about it. A lot of us don't give a fuck, and a lot of us are, a lot of people are programmed with dick rider syndrome, and we're cultish in our thinking, so that we're more appreciative of the fact that this person is resurrecting the legends. He's so great. He came down from his lofty cloud and he blessed these artists that existed long before him, that maybe probably had videos on BET back when BET was popping, and MTV, and world tours, been all over the world before this guy ever was probably out of diapers or had hair under his fucking armpits. But yet he gets to taunt our legends. He or she gets to taunt our legends by acting like they're insignificant because he just happens to be in a position of power that he reached by stepping on the backs of the true members and adherents to the culture being whatever music you're down with, hip-hop in particular. Like I said, most of my friends on here are hip-hop artists. So if you get a chance to listen to this, I'm not trying to hold you, take too much of your time. Consider whether the executive is talented or not based on which unknown artists he turns into success stories. Because how truly fucking talented are you as an executive, an administrator of the business, if all you're doing is making more money for people that already fucking have money? And in the meantime, you're making money for yourself because you're a glorified fucking secretary. And you write contracts, you sign contracts, and you talk your shit, and you like I said, you can't take a contract on stage and read it and get applause. The only people that applaud that are the dick riders, who 9 times out of 10 are just as fucking corny as you. And they don't understand the culture, and they're not from the culture. So of course they're going to applaud somebody that acts, looks, and sounds like them, tap dancing all over the fucking culture and all over the legends and all over the true talents that are unsung out there in the world. So until this changes in the industry, until the people, the artists, some people this doesn't even fucking matter. We're in wartime now, war all over the world, all kinds of crazy shit. But for someone like me that grew up in the culture, and it's been a major part of my life for a long time, and I'm currently disgusted with the business, It's like, who are these people? Who are the, on my Seinfeld shit, who are these people? Who do they think they are? How are they allowed? How are we allowing these people to walk in, make money, and walk out and say fuck you on the way out and slam the door in your face and track mud all in your house while they're in your house? I think that is not necessarily 100% the fault of the user and the abuser. I think that the people that allow and co-sign that kind of behavior just because they want to latch on and grab some of that residual success, they're also to blame. But anyway, I hope I get some responses to this from a few, or at least if nobody responds, just listen to the message and try to absorb what I'm saying here. It's all for the overused word today, culture. It's all for the culture, the lifestyle, the way of life. And it includes a way of talking, a way of acting. It includes music, it includes food, it includes language. It includes a lot of things. And a lot of the people that administrate and manipulate this culture are only fans of one or two aspects of the culture. And when it comes to when somebody speaks up about the rest of it, like human stuff, there are human beings that this culture came from. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to interpret or understand that, So because they're not about respect, they're about getting what they can out of something that little part of the culture that they relate to, that they see as valuable. And 9 times out of 10, it's only valuable because they use it to bolster their own fucking identity or lack thereof. I don't have an identity, so I'm going to utilize this culture to give myself a fucking personality that I wouldn't have if it wasn't for this culture. But you don't really get it. You don't really understand it. You don't understand where it comes from, who made it, why they made it, And it wasn't to fucking write a contract. It was an escape. It was a learning tool. It was a distraction from all the troubles of life, to a lot of people. But many different walks of life and races and cultures, That's why hip hop is an amalgam or a collection or combination, a mixture of all of different kinds of people. But so just ponder that thought for a minute, and I'll holler at y'all. Peace.